The loan moratorium period has ended on 31st of August, and the next step is for the recommendations to come in by the KV Kamath Committee on the one-time loan restructuring to the Reserve Bank of India. What ET now is picking up from sources is that the KV Kamath Committee is likely to submit their recommendations by the 4th of September to the Reserve Bank of India, and the Reserve Bank of India themselves may not waste a lot of time before putting out final guidelines for the banks. It is possible that the RBI will put out these recommendations by the 7th of September. Now, focusing on what the KV Kamath Committee has looked at closely, they have delved deeper into 5 to 6 sectors. This is mainly because of the exposure that banks have to these sectors, and these sectors may need a lot of support coming in from banks for demand revival and boost in their businesses. Now, what these sectors could be, the sectors could include steel, auto and real estate. Talking specifically about real estate, the committee might recommend differentiating between loans given to the real estate companies and real estate projects. And this is mainly to focus on reviving some of the real estate projects, the construction of which could have been halted by the pandemic, by the lockdown, and the demand for such projects might go up if the construction is revived. They are expecting and hoping that this will aid in bookings coming in for real estate projects as well. But the committee has probably not looked into a few sectors which have legacy issues, for example, like the power sector, which has been ailing for quite some time. It is not a COVID-specific issue in the power sector, so they might not give a lot of recommendations on these specific sectors. They may have also not looked into sectors which may take longer than 2 years to revive, and that is because the RBI in the announcement on the one-time loan restructuring has said that lending institutions may allow for extension of the residual tenure of the loan with or without payment moratorium by a period of not more than 2 years. What we also understand is that a total of 29 sectors were assessed by the KV Kamath Committee before formulating the recommendations, and after 20 representations were made from across industries. And we had also told you about how Care Ratings, ICRA and CRISIL had also made recommendations on multiple sectors, had made presentations and given their view on which sectors will require hand-holding from banks coming out of the loan moratorium period. Apart from that, just to remind you, the RBI had laid down strict entry barriers, like the account must be standard on March 1st, 2020 or overdue by no more than 30 days. SMA1, SMA2 NPA accounts were not eligible for restructuring, and all these barriers were laid down by the RBI on the day of the announcement itself. They also said that additional 10% provisioning should be done by banks for the post-resolution debt, and lenders should be signing the intercreditor agreement within 30 days of invocation, or they might have to keep 20% provision for the post-resolution debt. Very importantly, what the RBI had said for the KV Kamath Committee is to decide what the financial parameters will be there for the eligibility of these accounts, and what they were supposed to discuss the sector-specific ranges for each parameter. So these are the things that the committee will be talking about in the recommendations, and all eyes will be on what the recommendations are and when the final guidelines will come out from RBI.